Hello all and welcome to another video in my 1 million gamerscore and beyond series, and it's time to bring to you everything we got in November 2022. So let's go across to the gaming tab, scroll down because we like to do it in chronological order, and as I do I'll tell you there's a few easy completions here and a few updates as well. More updates dropped. Seems to be updates all the time nowadays. Anyway, we'll start off with an update that was for Brutal Rage. So obviously I had the 1000G on this, another 1000G update. If you've already done the 1000G on this, it's like a little gimme for you. It really is. All you have to do is to get them to trigger though, you have to kind of mess about with menus. So just go into lots of different menus and back out again without starting the game. And eventually, one by one, it will trigger all of the 5 additional achievements that they've added for another 1000G. What I will say about the base 1000G though is it's relatively an easy completion as such. There is just one achievement which is a bit tricky. It's the last one I unlocked, and it's this one here, a new champion. You're the champion of the Brutal Club. That's a mode where you play it on, I think, the highest difficulty, and it's like a horde mode, and you've only got one life bar. If you've played the game through, from what I remember, you kind of familiarise yourself with it. That'll help you, obviously, put you in good stead for it. I think it took me a couple of attempts to get it, a little bit of a strategy. I can't remember the strategy, unfortunately, because I think I played it a year or so ago. But once with a bit of practice and familiarisation of the game, I think you can do it. And there are guides on YouTube, I think, that can help you with this specific achievement and the base 1000G. I think I did look at Achievement Land and what they did for it as well for tips. I think it was them anyway. Can't 100% remember, but the guide is out there for the game should you struggle with that one achievement. But that is the one achievement which might hold a few people back. Right above that, Reactor X for Windows 10. The update might have been out for a while and I might have only just got to it, but I had the 4000 out of the 5000 for it. I mean, the last update on this is just ridiculously easy. It took less than a minute. Just need to know what levels to go on. So where are we? So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 achievements. So power up 15 or more energy blocks. Not hard. Power up 20 or more. As you'll see, I did those before I even read the hint on the 5th level. So 5th, 7th and 9th level have question marks on the floor. Walk over and it reveals the hint. There we go. Job done. Honestly, it's a super easy completion. It's a super easy 1000G update, but it's a super easy 5000G. So, yeah, there's one for you. If you haven't touched it already, only want an easy 5000. Right above that is a game I picked up in the sale. It is an easy completion, Space Wing War, but it's a good little game. It's a side-scrolling shmup, but it's very in the imagery and gameplay style of a Game Boy game. And yeah, a lot of fun with this one. It's not difficult. If you complete the story mode, which is 7 levels, you should basically get all of the achievements. There's a couple of cumulative ones to get along the way, but as you'll see, I've got all of those before I finished level 5. So collect 50 items is your top bracket there, and destroy 500 enemies is your top bracket there. I mean, yeah, there are other lower brackets. There's 150 and 20 items, and I think the first achievement you should get is collect 1 item. So if by any chance you don't get enough items, you can just replay the game. It doesn't have to be in one playthrough. And if you do die on a level, you don't have to go all the way back to the beginning of level 1. You will go back to the beginning of the level that you're on, because I was losing a few lives, and I think it was during level 5 that I went into it with 2 lives and managed to lose them both, and then I started the level again and got all my lives back and no problem. It does seem a bit generous on giving lives out as well, so again, not too difficult. I think it takes about an hour, that one. Oh, there we go, 57 minutes. So not a difficult completion, and a fun one though. So it's worth playing that and experiencing that one. I don't think it's too expensive either. Right, Ballotron I learnt had an update, which is basically do 5 more levels. However, I don't think I touched the Windows version at all, so I might have got the full 2000 this month. Let's jog my memory. 6th of 11th all round there. And let's go to the bottom one. Yep, did it all in one day. So yeah, I've done the base 1000 on the Xbox One version, and I learnt of an update in that version, and then I learnt it had a Windows 10 version. So yeah, quickly did 15 levels on that. Not difficult at all. You basically have to sort of fire your ball into the another ball, which is the goal, and there are obstacles in the way, and you can, anyway, it's not difficult at all, honestly, and won't take long at all. Probably about half an hour max to get the full 2000, probably quicker. Right, before we stumble across the updates, for Ballatron on the Xbox One. I did finish Paw Patrol Grand Prix, which is currently on Game Pass. Now, it's not a difficult completion. There's just a couple of things which may slow you down or may just be a bit annoying is more the words, actually, I think. Because the top achievement here, which is the last one I unlocked, is to win a 4-player split-screen race. Now, you're just thinking, if you've got the controllers, that's easy, right? Nope, guest profiles aren't allowed. They have to be full-on basic profiles. So I've got my main profile, which obviously I'm talking to you on now. I do have a boosting profile, a double boxing profile as well. So I had 2, because there is one for winning a split screen race, which I've already done by the looks of it. But yeah, I basically had to create 2 more profiles, and yeah, so that I could use my 4 controllers, log in with 4 accounts, and get that achievement basically on my own with 4 controllers and 4 accounts. So that's just an annoying achievement. It's not difficult, it's just annoying. But as for this, like, unlock all aesthetics, and when you're going for this win adventure with all pups, that should come along. That will come along the way. Just when you are every pup, make sure you at least use its skill. 30. There you go. There's the split screen. So that was no problem because I already had created an account when I went for that one. Right. So yeah, win 30 races. Win all the adventure races in first position. So what I did with this, I think I already touched on this, is in the last update, because I started it, is I finished the adventure, but I legit did all of the races. Yeah, I did it on easy. It's not difficult, it's specific, the achievement, so I did it on easy. I picked the very first pup on the left, so I know which one I'd done, and just worked my way along to the right, basically. And yeah, finished the adventure and made sure I played it myself 100%, so that I would win all adventure races in first position. But what you can do is it's got like an autopilot mode. If you press start and press, say, it might be Y, I can't remember what button it is, it's clearly visible anyway. You can then make the pup that you've moved on to, the second one and so on, basically drive for you. And they'll win a lot of the races. And you only have to finish the top 3 to unlock the next race every time you're going through an adventure as well. And even doing that, it should, I think, only twice out of all of the adventure playthroughs that I did. Like, there's like another 9 pups, I think, after the first one. I think it might be 10 in total. So that's why it takes a while to get this completion. But basically, I'd suggest that, you know, if you're home one day and you're doing other things, and you can just keep putting it on and sort of advancing them through the races and get them to do it as you're doing other stuff, and turn the volume off. It does get a bit tedious after a while. So it's not a difficult completion, but expect it to take 8 to 10 hours. There's a lot of easy ones here at the start. While you're trying to finish the tutorial, you'll do a skill. There we go. Win the first adventure race in first position. Win your first race. Boost pad 30 times. Again, there's loads of those. Even when it's in autopilot, it'll still run over a few. But obviously, if you do one adventure playthrough yourself, you'll hit loads along the way. But it's not a difficult completion. Have I got a time there? I probably took 15 hours because of me doing that method, where, you know, you basically idle it while it's auto racing for you, and then you come back, and then you have to move it on, sort of thing. But I think if you do it legit, 8 to 10, I don't think you can. I think it is more 10 to 12, actually, to be fair. It's just not a difficult completion. You've just got that 4-player split screen race problem, and you know, the grind of doing adventure mode with every pup. Unfortunately, I don't mind a kart race, so I know it's aimed at kids, so I kind of got to be a little bit sort of not too judgmental at the fact that I'm a 40-year-old man basically playing this kids game. It just felt really slow. I even feel like, for, you know, I've got a nephew who's like 10. I even feel like that would be too slow for him. Maybe it's aimed at 5-year-olds, I don't know, but yeah, it just felt really slow, unfortunately, and that took away from it. And yeah, I played Race with Ryan, and that wasn't actually too awful, to be honest with you. Right, anyway, I think we probably dipped into Microsoft Solitaire Collection and just done a bit of work to get some achievements closer for if I'm ever away for a whole 24 hours from my Xbox and want to keep my streak going. Then I've got that to help me basically keep the streak alive. Right, Command & Conquer 3 Kane's Wrath on a 360. Done all of the online for that because the online has now closed. We knew of a server closure, me and my good friend Ross, so we knocked that out, and it was a super easy one because it was just basically players every team. So, you know, that wasn't too difficult, but sadly the server has gone offline. Also, sadly the server has gone offline for Mercenaries 2. Got most of the online done on that, just except for a couple which were quite lengthy, and of course just left it too late. But it's nice to have a nice chunk of 310 gamerscore out of that, which you now can't get, even though I can't get the full 1000G because there's a couple of online achievements I didn't get, which are now obviously discontinued achievements as such. So there's Ballatron again. That's what I was talking about. we've got 5 more achievements on that. So yeah, 15, 14, 13, 12 and 11 are in the update, and as you'll see, back in March, we did the initial 1000G. So I mean, both these Bordertrons will probably get updated all the way up to 5000G within time. So yeah, expect to have to do one more level for every achievement, basically worth 200G until its 5000 is done. Right, Rabio, it's super easy, super quick, 1000G on this one. Energy Sphere in level 5 is taken, level 4 completed. It's all self-explanatory here when it comes to the levels. There you go, Energy Sphere in level 4 is taken. When you hit an Energy Sphere, the achievement unlocks straight away. So if you feel like you have to take a leap of faith and die while getting an Energy Sphere, don't worry, you'll still unlock your achievement. You don't have to finish the level for that achievement to unlock. You only have to finish the level 5. I think I did, but you don't have to finish level 5. Just have to grab the sphere in that one. But as long as you finish the first 4 levels and grab the sphere in level 5, you should be alright. The only other thing you have to do is die in every way possible that you see. So you get an achievement for just playing the game. Look, 100G. It's amazing that around about 7% of people haven't got that achievement, but yet started the game. Interesting. Right. Die by spikes. Die by jumping into a gap. And die by jumping into some fire of some form. So if you see a way of dying, just let it kill you that way if you're not dying that way naturally while playing through the game. But yeah, do you know what? It took about 10 minutes, I think. I get the feeling that they have plans. I hope they do, because otherwise it really is a pure cash grab. It's kind of a cash grab anyway, we know that, for achievements. But I kind of get the feeling this is set up for an update. And there we go. Apparently it took me 12 minutes. 12 minutes. So there we go. Yep, super easy, super quick. It's basically a little one-screen platformer. You can kind of see in the background what the levels would look like. Right above that is Caterpillar, another new game. If you've played Butterfly, I need to say exactly the same. It's not exactly the same. It's very similar to Butterfly, but the Caterpillar can climb up walls, so you can go up walls vertically and stick to them. So that's basically the main difference there. There's also these jet things that you can drop onto, and it will sort of shoot you across parts of the level. So yeah, it's basically Butterfly, but you can crawl up walls. And obviously it's got a Windows 10 stack, so we did that. Both versions of the game, I think you only have to do 10, is it 10 levels? Feels like it should be 10. Oh, level 10 started, there we go. So you only have to get to level 10 by the looks of it. But not difficult. I mean, should you struggle on a level, there are guides on YouTube, but honestly, didn't need a guide. The first 10 levels are quite simple enough. I can imagine some of the later levels on that getting tricky. I always kind of like these sort of puzzle platformer games, so I do hope they do add to it, and you have to carry on playing it for a bit longer for a bit of gamer score. Right above that is Slap the Rocks. This is another puzzle game. You see that dude there swiping a rock with a sword. You basically have to move some rocks round. They're in your way to get to a chest at the end of the level, which will help you progress. Now, I was playing through all of the levels. I'll explain why I'm saying all of the levels in a second. Because I thought, right, you've got to beat 20 levels basically for your game score. But as you'll see, some levels aren't there. Like 19 isn't there, 17 isn't there. 15 is not there as well, neither's 13 or 11. And I was playing through and I got up to level 17 and I got stuck on level 17. I got a little bit frustrated and I was just like, right, okay, it is a fun little puzzle game. It's exactly what you expect, sort of top down, a little bit isometric, slap the rocks round. If they're against a wall, you can't go behind it. Once you push it against a wall, you're screwed from certain angles. It's that sort of thing. But anyway, I got to level C and I was struggling. I was getting a little frustrated and I thought, right, I kind of want to be done with this game and I'm near the end. And so I just popped on YouTube to find a guide for the game. And as I'm watching the guide, I didn't even realise you can press start and basically skip to levels. So you don't need to do the levels you don't need to do for achievements. So I was like, oh, in that case, I'll just jump to 18 then. So that's exactly what I did. And then I stopped using the guide again, and I was able to actually get all of the levels that I needed for achievements done without a guide. And it took me an hour and 4 minutes. So I did it legit. Nearly, well, I was going to use a guide for 17, but you don't have to do 17 for an achievement. So I did all the levels that you need achievements for legit, and it took me an hour and 4 minutes. So obviously, if you use a guide, you'll probably blast through that in half the time easily. But it's a fun game. It's a fun game. I quite like my puzzle games, and I really enjoyed that one actually. Right, round out by Palgi. Not going to dive into this one too much. The only achievement which will end up taking a bit of time if you don't mind using a guide is place 500 words into grids. So and we don't forget to spend at least a minute considering a solution, but place 500 words into grids. So what I'd do with this one is I would use the walkthrough text guide on trueachievements.com. Lays it out beautifully for you into which puzzles to go to with the solution on the screen, so you can just bash out all the words and just knock it out in no time at all. But then you've got a little bit of a grind there at the end by placing 500 words into grid. So I just basically filled up the first one over and over again. So yeah, filled it up, and then once you have filled it up and you go out of it and back in again, it will be empty again. But however, if you're missing like a couple of words, it remembers you're missing a couple of words and it saves your progress like that. But anyway, yeah, the first one I just bashed out and over again and put 500 words into the grids. But yeah, use that guide on True Achievements. I did play it legit for a bit, but then I kind of got a little bit bored of it quite quickly and just wanted to get it done. So that's exactly what I did. But yeah, all of the round out game by Powergeese generally on True Achievements have an absolutely fantastic written walkthrough in which you can basically lays it out for you how to get all of the gamer score done in no time at all. Finally got Mortal Kombat X done. Yes, all the online boosting is done. I think I touched on it in the last video. So we got to level 50 in all factions, reached a personal level of 65, and we finally grinded out the 1000 respect points, because you have to do that basically in an online mode which isn't private basically. And yeah, it got a little frustrating at times when we was on a good run of not meeting anybody. Me and this is Ross of Bohor again, obviously my regular boosting buddy. And it got a bit frustrating. Every now and again we'd pick up someone after being on a good run of an hour of just the two of us. But yeah, got there in the end, trading wins and then giving 10 respect points every time. But yeah, had to grind these out. Found a good little trick on trueachievements.com for the personal level XP, which was taking a while. And there are 5 factions. You've got all of them up to 50 XP, but you have to stay with the faction until you get to 50, because if you leave a faction and go back to a faction, it resets your faction XP. So stay with one, get to 50, move to another one, get to 50, and so on. But fantastic that I've got this in my completion catalogue now. Really, really proud of that one. You love Mortal Kombat, love fighting games. Right, Battletoads I ended up dipping back into because there was a challenge for 500 reward points and you had to get a certain achievement in 1 of 10 games, and I've already played this before in the past, and I actually did some of the multiplayer achievements with 2 pads, so about 3 or 4 of them, so I just nipped into that game and did those. Right, Limb Hunter has had a 1000G update. If you want to get the 1000G update done quick and you're already done the first 2000G, there's a perfect video on YouTube which tells you basically from your last pop on title update 2 what you have to do and where you have to go. And I was going to use that. I used that to find the first access card. I think the red access card is the one that I used that for. Or was it? No, it's green, I think. Yes, that one there. And then, I think I did them on different days, or nearly all on different days, over 3 days. Just had so much fun with this game that I ended up just playing it. Like, I got the green access card, and I just kept on playing it. Got 3,000 gears, found that, and just kept playing it. It's just a really fun sort of Metroidvania game, actually, where you upgrade your robot, which you will need to do to make it easier for when you get to some of these later levels. And so upgrading your arms, upgrading your head, your torso, your legs. If you upgrade to a certain torso, it gives you the function to upgrade both of your arms and have 2 weapons at once. And so you really will need it, because I think the base 2000G you have to get to a boss and beat the boss, so you kind of will need to do that as you're going along if you're doing it from scratch. So yeah, found the blue access card, did have to use a guide for that just to know where it was, and also had to use a guide to find the secret lab. But honestly, I was just going to knock out sort of an achievement every other day, which is why I didn't get them all in one day, and I just ended up playing it for a couple of hours. It was just a really good game, and so I hope they add another 2000G to this in time and I can play it for a bit more, because it is a really good game. It's not a straightforward 3000G. There's a little bit of work involved to do with it, but you can use guides to find access cards and things like that, and use a guide in general overall. I think there's a nice chunk of gamer score you can pop really early on by just putting a head on your guy, a torso, like just changing them. Honestly, really, there is a chunk you can get really quick, but you will have to put a bit of time into it. Right. Sonic the Hedgehog, inspired to go back to this by a TA medal. Sadly, this game is delisted, so you can't buy it. If for some reason you do have it and you haven't got the 200G out of this, then you can make the achievements in this easier for yourself, because the game has save states. So I went back to it after quite some time. I think where are we? 2017. I mean, I just played it, and I think I only had like 1 or 2 goes of it, and never finished the game. Never even got to Starlight Zone. So I decided to start from scratch from the first level and basically go for beat the game without dying, and beat the game in under 40 minutes. So basically, because the game has save states, literally every time you do a level and do it without dying, you can create a save state. You can create save states mid-level as well. So if you're struggling, but you always get to a certain point, you can save at a certain point as well. But you do have to beat the game in under 40 minutes, as I've still got highlighted here. And what I did is I went to the TA solutions for this game and looked at the solutions for that specific achievement, and someone had done like a little chart of what, how long it's taken them on that level, their total for that level in seconds as well, in case you want to add everything at seconds, and then sort of how much time they had left over when they finished it within those times. And the time they had left over was like 9 minutes something. So, and to be honest with you, some of their times were a little bit on the good side, and some of the times were pretty average, and some of the times I managed to beat by a few seconds, and one of the times I managed to beat by nearly 20 seconds. It was something like 17, 18 seconds. But I used their times as a guide, and if I was like 10 seconds over, I was like, well, you got 9 minutes to play with, that's fine. So just a lot of save stating so that I could beat the game without dying. If I felt like I'd taken too long, then I didn't save it. But there's 3 slots, so you can kind of mess around with your slots. Like if you're happy with that, but you think you might need to go back, just use another slot and things like that. Do you know what? A lot of these Sega Ages games have this save state feature, and you can use it in pretty much all of them. I think I used it in the Comic Zone one as well. Right, yep. So after I'd done my playthroughs, I then just whisked through the Green Hill Zone and made a save state at the beginning of Marble Zone Act 1 to beat that level in under 80 seconds, 1 minute 20 basically. And I tell you what, I did up to a certain point really quickly, so I made a save state, and then I did another bit relatively quickly, and I was like, right, I should do this now. Made another save state, and I got to that last section, and I kept messing up, and I kept being 1 minute 21 like 3 or 4 times in a row, but I was able to get a 1 minute 19 eventually. The other thing is, obviously, I didn't have the achievement for all the Chaos Emeralds, so I didn't bother with those while I was doing this. However, once you get the 6th Chaos Emerald, the achievement will unlock. You don't need to go all the way to the end of the game, which was a blessing. I had an inkling that might happen, but thankfully it didn't. So basically, to get the Chaos Emeralds, you have to obviously get 50 rings at a level. Big gold ring, the level jump in it takes you to a special stage. So on Green Hill Zones 1 and 2, and Marble Zones 1 and 2, and then Spring Yard Zone, I think, after that, areas 1 and 2, I made sure I got 50 rings. Again, save stated the hell out of them, so that I didn't have to do too much backtracking if I messed up or if I died and didn't get 50 rings again. So I did that, and then obviously once you get into the special stage, you can create a save state as well. So if you screw up the special stage without getting the emerald and hitting the goal, you can go back into it. So basically I did the minimum amount of levels with regards to progression depth into the game, and got all of the Chaos Emeralds out of it. But it was nice to go back to this game after all that time. I mean, I knew the completion was there. I don't know why I didn't do it at the time, but I'm glad I didn't. And it also got me my TA medal for November, one of November 2022's medals, the gold level, of course, in CA. So yes, pleased to have that. Right, so what have we got above that? Been dipping in and out of Grid Legends still. I think I talked about this the last one. Play the story mode. You have to play career mode. You have to do a lot of races and a lot of driving in this game to get all of the achievements out of it. Some of the stipulations and certain situations you need to be in, there is a race created for you to go in and set that up for you. Some of the individual achievements where you have to do this track in this condition in this car, and you can just set it up, But you might want to play through the career just in case they pop along the way. But I've been using this one to keep my streak alive a little bit, because I hit a little bit of a funk, so I've not been playing it as heavily as I have been in the past this month. So that's why there's not as many games and as much to talk about, even though I could still waffle on like a gun for 25 minutes or so. So yeah, we've just been dipping in and out of Grid Legends, and we will continue to do so until we at least get the base 1000G, and then like a sucker I want the 1600 out of this, because I think I can get it, and I'll probably buy it. And then above that is Smart Moves 2, which is always there, as I say, at the end of every video, because reward points for playing a PC game every day, and that's the game I use. So I just leave it running on my laptop. And yep, super easy, 3000G, as I always say. Find yourself a good level with lots of treasure chests, lots of snakes. Keep opening chests, keep killing snakes, but leave one snake alive so you can die, and then just refresh that level with lots of treasure chests and snakes on, like I do every day. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is November 2022 done. I thank you very much for watching or listening. I've had a bit of feedback from a few people saying that they put this on and they just listen because you don't need to watch the screen too much. So thank you for watching or listening. If you have enjoyed it, or if it has helped you, then please hit a thumbs up. That would be pretty awesome. Feel free to ask any question about any game in the comment section below, and I will try to help you as much as I can. If you have enjoyed this and you are not subscribed, please consider subscribing. If you do subscribe, I would love you for it. I do love all my current subscribers already. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, please do take care.